Hey everyone, Godzilla 237. So part 1 of the Godzilla 2014 review, I will be talking about the Mutos, the antagonist monsters in the film. So, first problem, the entire movie pretty much focuses on the Mutos, or Ford's family, whichever, but those are the two main focuses. And let's talk about the physical aspects of them first. Just looking at them, there's two of them, there's the male and the female. The male looks like a mix between Orga, Gigan, and Megalon. Obviously, it has the giant metal hooks for hands, and everyone saw that in the trailer. I was expecting a Gigan ripoff, but sort of, I guess. And you can tell the Orga characteristics there. It has that hunched over back, kind of walks on its arms. And really nice design. I thought it was an interesting monster. The male has wings, and that's gave me the Megalon thing, because its wings look a lot like Megalon. And the female does not have wings, and it's actually quite bigger than the male. It's a lot bigger. And obviously, as you can guess, the female gets pregnant, whatever. The male is just collecting food for it. And so let's talk more about the abilities of the monsters. Something I really found interesting is that both of these monsters have the ability to create and generate an EMP within a 200-mile radius around them. I just thought that was a really cool aspect. That I've never seen another monster that has that ability before, unless you kind of count Gamera, but that's not really the same thing. It's just, I don't know. The backstory of the monsters is also confusing because, so in 1999 in the Philippines, they uncovered a cave with a giant fossil that they said reminded them of Godzilla, and it had the two Muto eggs in it. But one of them had already hatched, and there was the whole big opening in the side of the mountain, whatever, and you see this trail and then leading to the sea. So this Muto, which I'll spoil now is the male, heads straight to Japan, does the whole thing with the power plant because... Oh wait, I never explained why this thing is going after a power plant. The Mutos feed off of nuclear energy and radiation, which is really interesting. So it attaches to the power plant, and just that's what causes the whole meltdown and everything, the catastrophe, whatever. Bryan Cranston loses his wife, so sad. And then it just cuts to 15 years later. The Muto hatches eventually from the cocoon, and it just looked awesome. It had a nice destruction scene where it was just tearing apart the base where it was hatched at. I found it really kind of stupid that the Japanese military made no attempt whatsoever to stop or contain it. That was really disappointing, and after it kills Bryan Cranston, yeah, spoiler again, it just flies away and goes to Hawaii. You're probably wondering why it goes to Hawaii, because if this thing's looking for nuclear energy, why the fuck would it not just go to China or Russia? It's going to Hawaii because Bryan Cranston, going back to his character, looks up all this echolocation and all these signals he found, because he was an engineer 15 years ago in the accident when it happened. And he was finding all these tremors and signals, and later they discovered that it was the Muto, the male, contacting the female. And I thought that was actually a really interesting concept, that these two monsters were talking to each other through echolocation or tremors, and then that's why the male began heading to the female, and after the female hatches, it starts heading to the male. One thing I would like to point out, though, is if they knew that the Muto had been feeding off of the nuclear energy from the power plants, why would they take the other Muto, put it in the most illogical place possible? If we know these things feed off of nuclear waste, we're just going to take it and put it in Nevada, where we store the entire American supply of nuclear waste. That has to be the stupidest thing possible. Like, how could they do that? Why would they put that in the movie? It's just like, well, you don't fucking say. You grew a giant monster because you didn't fucking learn from the last time. And the whole thing happens. It's like, well, duh, if these things feed off of radiation, obviously, we gotta put them around radiation to feed them. But no! It's so stupid. So then the two Mutos come together in San Francisco. They start building their nest, making babies. They're all territorial. And, the fight scene. Watching them destroy San Francisco is okay. The military does some damage, or at least attempts to attack them. There's really just a lot of stupid scenes, especially with the Mutos going after nuclear bombs. I thought that was really funny, especially the male. He really likes to eat nuclear bombs, and obviously there's the scene with the train on the bridge where the female attacks that one and takes the nuclear bombs. One scene that I did think was pretty funny as opposed to like exciting was when the submarine, the Russian nuclear submarine, was just in the middle of Hawaii, and no one ever thought, oh, how the fuck is this giant submarine in the middle of an island? Like, no, there's no way that no one ever saw this giant ass submarine be placed on shore. It's just not possible. And just didn't make any sense. Speaking of Hawaii, the male Muto is in Hawaii. It starts tearing shit up, or at least you sort of see it tearing shit up. It starts blowing up the airport, and yeah, I'm not going to go into the next part because we're saving that for the Godzilla video. And then towards the end of the movie, the obviously both Mutos will die as they are antagonists in their fight. Fight is loosely used with Godzilla. How they die, though, I found interesting. They both died by some of Godzilla's signature attacks, which I thought was awesome that they included that. The male dies because Godzilla just slams the fuck out of it with his tail, and that was awesome. It just slammed right into a building, and it died. It was it was awesome. The death that confuses me, though, is the female. I mean, alright, initial reaction, it was one of the coolest fucking things and probably the best finishing move I've ever seen Godzilla put on another monster. It was incredible, but it does not make any sense. So, Godzilla, the female Muto storyline is about to kill the main character, Ford, who's on the boat with a nuclear missile, which doesn't make sense how the boat started working again if the Muto is doing the EMP thing right next to it, but so then right before he dies, Godzilla grabs the Muto and just puts both hands on his jaws, and my initial reaction was, oh shit, he's gonna do the King Kong like jaw break thing. But then it went to the next level. Godzilla, his spines glowed blue, and he blasted his atomic breath right down the throat of the Muto, and its head just blew the fuck up. I mean, it was really great to watch, and an awesome visual effect, awesome finishing move, but it does not flow with the whole premise of the Muto, because if these Mutos feed off of nuclear energy and the radiation, then how is it that Godzilla's atomic breath, which we all know is just a stream of radiation, how would that have killed a monster that feeds off of radiation? Some of my friends, and I've heard that it was overfeeding, but I see that as more of just the Muto getting fat as opposed to actually its head just getting dislodged. But I don't know. Overall, the Mutos were nice additions to a Godzilla movie. They were interesting. Really nice to see Godzilla fight them, and all around, not too bad of monsters. Tune in next time and we'll start talking about the big man himself.